Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I have a review of the Arrtx metallic paint pens. This is a set of 18 metallic markers, and they are dual-ended, and the thing I really like about them is there's no odor, and you also don't have to pump and prime the markers before you use them. They come in this flat, sturdy box that doubles as storage, so you don't need to throw it away. You can keep them right in here. And it also comes with a swatch card that's black and also that's white on the other side. Now, I actually, before I noticed that this was in here, I swatched these markers on black watercolor paper and also just plain white cardstock so you can see the range of colors that you get. You can see they show up really well on black, and you can also see their true colors on black, which is nice because sometimes when you use a metallic marker, especially a water-based metallic marker, it'll just look like shimmer on black and you can't see the colors. These are nice and opaque so you can see the colors underneath it. These are advertised as a metallic paint pen, but they're also advertised as can be used on wood, fabric, plastic, canvas, Easter eggs, that sort of thing. But I don't know if I'd really recommend it for a lot of those different purposes because for one thing, it's got a very flexible brush tip that is great on paper, but I think could be torn up pretty easily if you're using them on rocks or wood. And also, they're pretty water resistant, but I wouldn't really call them like waterproof. And I think that the mica would wash off if you used it in a surface like that. And also I did test some on glass and it washed completely off once it was dry with water. So if you're going to use it in a setting like that, I would think of them almost like a chalk pen. You know, you could write something on a temporary label because you can wipe it off with water afterwards. If you want to like label somebody's glass at a party, you could do that, and then you could wash it off when you wash the dishes. So I just wanted to make that clear because I was looking at the listing. They also have these listed in the same sales listing on Amazon as their acrylic paint markers, which I also found the exact same to do the same thing. So I just wanted to put that out there. So this is what the markers look like. They kind of remind me of a Tombow marker. You pull one end off and you've got a brush tip. You pull the other end off and you have a bullet tip. And these bodies and nibs are the exact same product, the exact same body and make as their acrylic paint pens, which I also found to wash off with water on non-porous surfaces. So exact same marker. If you like these, you'll probably like those too. Now all the reviews that are on Amazon as of, let's see, today is June 1st, they all seem to be reviewing this product and not this product. So they are so very similar. I think it's just like, honestly, just these have mica in them and they're a smaller amount. Like this is $15 for 18 pens, and the acrylic pens are like $22 for 36 pens. So it just depends if you want the sparkle or not, basically. Other than that, they're just about identical. Now I also wanted to compare them to a Tombow marker, the classic Tombow dual tip markers. The bullet tips are pretty much the same. The brush tips are different. The Arrtx ones are more flexible, they're more fine, and they're also not as long. The Tombow ones are a little bit stiffer, and these also have like a watercolor product in them and not like a thick product like acrylic or gouache like these do. These actually remind me a lot of metallic gouache. If you look at these, they're not super reflective. They're very matte, like a metallic gouache would be. So you're not going to get super high shine from this product, but you will get beautiful opacity and a shimmer and a pearl, like a pearl kind of quality to them. So I just wanted to mention that. If you're looking for something high shine, you're probably going to want like an oil-based or solvent-based or even acrylic-based pen that's got a little gloss to it, which these are not. But those come with the problems of needing to pump and shake and all that, and these are just ready to go. So it makes me feel like they're probably more of like a gouache type of product like their acrylic pens. All right, so I want to show you a couple little artworks or a couple of things I did with them. Here you can kind of see a little bit more reflection if I tip it to the light. This is a little sketch I did with the, mostly with the brush ends of the pen. I found on a textured surface like this watercolor paper, if I use the bullet end, and I used it really light because I don't like to put a lot of pressure when I'm sketching, it felt dry. It wasn't dry if I pushed normal and drew with it. I had plenty of flow, but when I went really light pressure with the bullet end, it felt kind of dry, but with a brush end it felt completely juicy and was really fun to use. And I also had a brainstorm. I thought, you know, since these can be, because like I had scribbled it on here, let it dry, and then went with water, and you can see I've got this kind of smeary, like just kind of, well, I can show you right here. Let's take a little water on my brush. You know, it washes completely off with a wet brush. So I thought, ooh, maybe I can use this with a direct to stamping technique as well. Like when you color up the rubber stamp and then you stamp with it. And that's what I did here. On these two are first impressions and these two are second impressions. And all you do, I'll show you really quick. It's the same technique you would do with a, let's use 3 colors. It's the same technique you would do with like your Tombow markers. Just kind of scribble on some color. I don't know if this is great for these markers though, because where they feel like they'd be really good for like brush lettering, I kind of think, just like with a rock painting where I suggested probably not the best for rock painting because it can abrade the nibs, this might wear your nibs down faster, I will warn you, but I just wanted to try it because I was just curious. So we'll do a couple different colors here. Now I'm just going to give this a really fine, you can breathe on this with like your breath, or I'm just going to give it a real quick spritz off camera with this ultra fine mist. Okay, just to re-moisten the ink. Give it a good press. And look, I mean, look at that. That's really, that would be just really fun and special. Think of Christmas cards and stuff like that. So anyways, I was kind of happy that that worked. I'm going to give it another spray. And we'll see what we get for a second generation. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It definitely reminds me of gouache though. And I'm going to wipe this really quick so that I don't get any, if this is just happens to have some acrylic in it or mica, it does have mica in it. I don't want it getting into the nooks and crannies and, you know, messing up my stamp. But yeah, that's a nice use for it. You could also do this with the acrylic markers that they sell. And yeah, I mean, I like this product. I think that it is worth the money if you want a metallic pen that doesn't smell bad and you want it to be true color. I think it's a really good option. So what I want to do now is kind of show you how the nibs work. So this is the bullet nib. You don't get a really, like, you don't get much response from the bullet nib. Kind of it's going to be pretty much the same width from whatever direction you go. You can go a little bit slower and you can press a little bit more to get a little bit thicker of a line, but you're not going to get too much change. But the brush nibs, you can get really fine. Well, you can get a line's about as fine as what you can get with the fine end, with the bullet end. But then you can also get these like 1/4 inch wide strokes, which I think would be really fun if you are a brush letterer, because you can go from thick to thin really easily. I am not a brush letterer, but it's just kind of fun because you can press on these and it feels like you're not going to damage anything. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to lettering. But it's just kind of fun to just do those like swirly lines. I mean, look at that. The flow is just incredible on these. And for 15 bucks for 18 markers, less than $1 a marker, I think for like card making and lettering and crafts, scrapbooking, that sort of thing, think of the fun titles you could do with these. Yeah, I think it's worth it. I think they're a lot of fun and I think they're priced right. And honestly, I think Arrtx does a really good job with their products. You know, they are budget-friendly products, but they do a good job with them. So I like these. I also like their acrylic markers. I will have a more in-depth review of their acrylic markers, but they also have storage that can be reused. I like that. Yeah. Oh, I'll show you a comparison of the acrylic marker swatch. This is what their acrylic markers look like. They're not super opaque. If you want something that's more opaque, go with the metallics. They're much more opaque. But if you want something that's like bright colors, here's the color version. Okay, the colors are much brighter in the acrylic versus the metallic on white. But on dark, you definitely want to go with the metallics. They're fun. I like them both. I think they're basically the same product, just different color families. And yeah, really flexible and fun to write with. So if that's something you've been looking for, then I recommend them. Give them a try. Give them a try. They're not that expensive if it's something that you want. Oh yeah, and you could also add accents over those as well in the stamping. It almost looks like a verdigris type of ink there. These are very matte. That's something I also want to mention, that both of their sets, the ink is very matte when it's dry. So even though this is kind of a reflective product, it's metallic, it definitely is more of a pearl than a true metallic. So yeah, I think I've given you all the information I have about these. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, happy crafting.